Everything you were taught about medieval knights is wrong. Those suits of armor were never designed for humans. And once you understand who they were really built for, you'll never be able to look at history or museums the same way again. Why do we accept history exactly as it is written in textbooks, rarely questioning who wrote it and why? We are told that the Middle Ages were a time of misery, disease, and ignorance. A world where survival consumed all human effort, where people rarely lived past 30, and where advanced knowledge simply did not exist. But this neat narrative begins to fracture the moment we step into a museum. Behind the glass stands medieval armor, not crude protection forged in desperation, but objects of astonishing precision and beauty. Intricate engravings. Perfect symmetry. Decorative patterns so refined they resemble techniques supposedly invented centuries later. These are not the products of starving peasants barely clinging to life. These are masterpieces. So an uncomfortable question emerges. Who had the time, resources, and technical mastery to create them? If medieval life was as brutal and short as we are told, who spent years carving microscopic patterns into steel? And for what purpose? Survival alone cannot explain this level of craftsmanship. And the mystery deepens when we look closer at the helmets. Many are shaped like faces frozen in unnatural expressions. Wide grins. Elongated snouts. Beaks. Animal features. Grotesque, almost theatrical. In real combat, such protrusions would be lethal flaws. Any experienced warrior knows smooth surfaces save lives. So why would someone willingly wear a design that could catch a blade or snap a neck? Unless the helmet was not designed for a human face at all. Some visors offer minimal airflow. Others restrict vision. Several have neck openings so narrow that a human skull could not physically pass through without injury. These are not minor inconveniences, they are anatomical impossibilities. Historians dismiss this as ceremonial armor. Parade pieces. Symbolism. But that explanation avoids the real problem. Because the rest of the armor often makes even less sense. Rigid leg sections with limited knee articulation. Solid metal tubes where flexibility should be essential. Any trauma surgeon will tell you, a human inside such a structure would struggle to walk, mount a horse, or even stand without injury. Unless the armor was never meant to follow human anatomy. Unless it replaced it. Imagine the armor not as protection, but as an exoskeleton. For a being without bones. A soft-bodied organism would require an external frame to function on land. For such a creature, rigid metal limbs are not restrictive. They are necessary. Narrow neck openings are irrelevant if no rigid skull must pass through them. Decorative faceplates become interfaces, not protection. A way to imitate a face where none exists. This would also explain the unsettling expressions. A smile not meant to express emotion, but to approximate it. Camouflage. An attempt to appear familiar. And nature already provides candidates that fit this profile disturbingly well. Cephalopods, octopuses, and cuttlefish possess extraordinary intelligence, decentralized nervous systems, and bodies without bones. 2/3 of their neurons exist outside the brain, allowing limbs to act independently. They have multiple hearts, copper-based blue blood, and unparalleled adaptability. Their ink is rich in melanin, a substance known to absorb radiation. Certain melanized organisms even convert radiation into usable energy. In environments hostile to humans, these creatures thrive. Now imagine a global catastrophe in the distant past. Radiation. Environmental collapse. Land becoming hostile. Who survives? Not humans. but organisms already adapted to extreme conditions. Encased in metal exoskeletons, such beings could operate on land. The armor becomes a life support shell. A pressure suit. A mechanical body. Suddenly, legends take on new meaning. Blue-blooded aristocracy. Gods with blue skin described across cultures, from India to Polynesia. Deities rising from the sea to rule, teach, and dominate. Beings forbidden to be touched. Rulers separated from common people by ritual and distance. Even historical figures raise questions. Take Ivar the Boneless. Official history claims he suffered from a severe skeletal disorder. Yet led armies, inspired terror, and dominated battlefields. How does a man with fragile bones survive Viking warfare? Unless boneless was not a metaphor. Unless it was literal. Transported on a platform. Encased in armor. Operating a body not his own. Suddenly, the contradiction vanishes. Across cultures, myths speak of fishmen, sea gods, beings in skins or shells who walked among humans. Historians call these metaphors. But what if they were descriptions? What if medieval armor is not evidence of human warfare, but remnants of something else entirely? Not relics of knights, but suits once inhabited by another form of intelligence. Now standing empty. Polished. Silent. Preserved in museums, misidentified, misunderstood. So the question is no longer whether history is incomplete. The question is, what else have we been taught to stop asking about? Write your thoughts in the comments. If this perspective made you question the past, share it.